I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now. I need your full and absolute attention. What is happening right now behind closed doors in Washington is not being reported on mainstream television news. A catastrophic political confrontation just occurred, and the entire power structure is fractured. The political establishment wants you to look away, but you cannot afford to. We are standing on the absolute precipice of a total political meltdown. The United States Senate is locked in a dead heat at 50-50. The absolute unthinkable is happening in the state of Texas. Texas, the most secure stronghold of the Republican Party, has officially dissolved into a razor-thin 1 to 2 point race. The entire system is cracking from the inside out as we rapidly approach the midterm elections of 2026. This is a code red emergency for the political establishment. Do not close this video. The corporate media algorithms are actively trying to suppress this information right now to keep you in the dark. If you want to understand the hidden forces shaping your financial future and your country before the rest of the world wakes up tomorrow morning, you must hit the subscribe button immediately. Turn on all notifications right now. Do not be left behind when the dust settles. You need to know exactly what transpired in that closed room because it changes everything. This is not just another headline. This is a foundational shift in American power, and the fallout starts immediately. At exactly 2:14 in the afternoon on Tuesday, the facade of total unity within the Republican Party shattered into a million pieces. This did not happen on a public stage. This happened behind the heavy, soundproof doors of a secure briefing room just off the House floor. Donald Trump walked into that room. He did not offer handshakes. He did not offer polite greetings. Instead, he unleashed a wave of raw political humiliation that left seasoned lawmakers completely paralyzed. Look at the contrast. Outside that room, Republican leadership is telling reporters that they are completely united. They are promising a massive red wave for the midterm elections of 2026. They are smiling for the television cameras. But inside that room, the atmosphere was thick with fear. The room was suffocatingly hot. The air conditioning could not cool the panic. More than 30 elected officials sat in absolute stunned silence. I need you to picture the physical reality of this moment. House Speaker Mike Johnson sat at the center of the table. His head was bowed down. He was staring intensely at his legal pad. His fingers were gripping his pen so tightly that his knuckles turned completely white. Across from him, powerful committee chairs were sweating through their tailored suits. No one dared to break eye contact with the floor. The silence stretched out for 45 agonizing seconds. 45 seconds of absolute dominance. Then, Donald Trump began to speak. He did not use diplomatic language. He looked directly into their faces and called them weak. He called them incompetent. He told them they were failing their constituents and failing his movement. He specifically targeted members who have spent the last 6 months trying to play both sides of the political aisle. He looked at them and told them their political careers were effectively over if they did not show total, unquestioning loyalty. This was a systematic dismantling of the establishment elite. 5 devastating words echoed through the room. You are going to lose. He told them that while they are busy fundraising and attending corporate dinners, the ground is shifting beneath their feet. He weaponized the polling data right there on the spot. He pointed out that their numbers are collapsing in districts they have held for over 2 decades. He told them that they are completely disconnected from the anger of the American working class. The reaction in that room was pure panic. Lawmakers who usually dominate the television airwaves were suddenly reduced to silent observers. They did not push back. They did not defend their records. They simply sat there and took the verbal beating. This was not a regular political disagreement. This was a total takeover of the party establishment. Donald Trump made it clear that he controls the base, he controls the money, and he controls their political survival. If they do not fall in line immediately, they will be purged before the leaves turn color in the autumn of 2026. But wait, it gets worse. Much worse. If you think the nightmare for the Republican establishment is confined to that suffocating Washington briefing room, you are completely wrong. Now, what I am about to show you changes the whole picture. The true disaster is not happening at the top of the political pyramid. It is exploding at the absolute bottom. The establishment elite are being hit by a devastating two-front war. While Donald Trump is crushing them from above, their own core voters are rising up to destroy them from below. Let us look directly at the raw evidence. Consider exactly what happened to Representative Mike Flood just this week. He walked into a town hall meeting in his own home district, expecting a friendly crowd of loyal supporters. Instead, he walked straight into a political woodchipper. The moment he stepped up to the microphone, the room erupted into a deafening wall of pure fury. Voters were screaming. They were booing. They were literally chasing their own elected representative out of the room. The establishment media tried to spin this as an isolated incident of partisan agitation. That is a flat-out lie. I am not speculating here. I am not spreading internet rumors. I have spent the last 48 hours reviewing the raw, unedited footage and analyzing the verified field reports from the ground. The reality is undeniable. Lawmakers are facing a crisis they cannot control, and they know it. Let me translate what those boos actually mean, because the mainstream networks will never tell you the truth. Those angry voices are not coming from radical left-wing activists. Those are lifelong, conservative, traditional Republican voters who feel completely betrayed by their leadership. They are furious because their daily cost of living is skyrocketing while their leaders do absolutely nothing. They are screaming because their healthcare insurance premiums are exploding, their vital benefits are being systematically gutted, and their economic stability is completely evaporating. They were promised an economic golden age, but they received financial ruin instead. This is a systemic collapse of constituent trust. For the last 6 months, House Republican leadership has secretly been telling its members to stop hosting public town hall meetings entirely. They ordered them to stay away from their own voters. Why? Because they are absolutely terrified of the bad press. They are too scared to look their own people in the eye. When an elected official is literally running away from the very people who put them in office, the entire system is fundamentally broken. This is not a standard political debate anymore. This is a full-scale electoral mutiny. The anger is real, it is volatile, and it is spreading across the entire nation like wildfire as we rapidly approach November of 2026. The establishment is running out of time. Here is what nobody is talking about on the mainstream media networks. They want you to focus on the public insults, the loud arguments, and the political theater. But they are completely ignoring the silent catastrophe unfolding right beneath our eyes. There is a historic housing bill sitting in Washington right now. This is not just another minor piece of bureaucratic regulation. This is the most sweeping, significant housing reform legislation in modern American history. It has broad, unprecedented bipartisan backing. Former economic advisors from multiple administrations support it. Conservative lawmakers work tirelessly on it. Moderate representatives desperately want to pass it to save their own political careers. It would immediately lower home prices, drastically increase supply, and provide massive economic relief to millions of struggling families. Yet, it is completely frozen, dead in the water, absolutely blocked. I stayed up until 4:30 in the morning last night reading all 400 pages of the internal legislative memos, committee transcripts, and confidential strategy documents. I lost sleep over this. I truly did. My eyes were burning in the dark as I realized the sheer level of political cynicism occurring behind the scenes. It makes me incredibly angry to my core. Because what those documents reveal is a calculated betrayal of the American public. Donald Trump is personally holding this historic economic relief package hostage. He is refusing to allow his party to move it forward. He will not let them touch it. Why? Because he is using the financial suffering of ordinary citizens as raw political leverage. He has delivered a brutal ultimatum to Republican leadership. He told them he will block this massive, easy legislative victory unless they immediately pass the Save America Act. Let that sink in. Instead of delivering immediate financial relief to families who cannot afford their rent, the leadership is freezing the entire process. They are using your wallet as a bargaining chip. Trump knows his public approval rating has plummeted to a dangerous 35% in the latest major polling data. He knows that his party is facing a total wipeout in the upcoming midterm elections of 2026. He sees the ground shifting rapidly in states like Texas, Ohio, and Alaska. So, instead of winning voters over by passing an objectively good bill, the strategy is to change the rules of the election entirely. The plan is simple yet terrifying. Force the party to eliminate the Senate filibuster, pass the new voting restrictions, lock in structural advantages that could control the election outcomes for the next 100 years. This is the hidden truth behind the gridlock in Washington. It is not a standard disagreement over economic policy. It is a cold, calculated hostage situation where your financial survival is the ultimate ransom. No compromise, no hesitation. Just pure power dynamics at play. Let us look at the massive macroeconomic destruction being engineered at the very top of the political pyramid. In the Oval Office, the expansion of executive authority has reached unprecedented levels. The administration is completely bypassing the traditional legislative process. They are using sweeping executive orders to fundamentally alter the structure of the federal government. They are aggressively pushing the Department of Government Efficiency to fire tens of thousands of dedicated civil servants. This is a total disruption of the state. But what does this high-level political maneuvering actually mean for you? Let us zoom directly in from the halls of power to the reality of your kitchen table. Every single decision made in those carpeted Washington offices slams directly into your personal finances. When the leadership freezes a historic housing bill to play political games, the upper-level gridlock triggers immediate economic pain for ordinary citizens. Consider a young couple trying to buy their very first home. Because of this political gridlock, interest rates remain suffocatingly high. Housing supply remains completely frozen. That couple is forced to watch their dream of home ownership completely evaporate. They are trapped in a cycle of skyrocketing rent. Look at the grocery store aisles. When executive orders disrupt supply chains and fuel inflation, a mother standing at the checkout counter is forced to make agonizing choices. She is looking at her grocery cart, counting every single penny. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits are being systematically stripped away. She has to decide which basic necessities to put back on the shelves. This is the brutal reality of the micro to macro zoom. The political elite talk about systemic restructuring and changing the voting laws, but for you, it means higher prices. It means less stability. It means absolute financial anxiety. Let us apply the rule of three to this devastating economic reality. Under this current trajectory, there is no affordable housing. There is no healthcare security. There is no financial peace of mind. The establishment wants you to believe that these structural changes are necessary for the future of the nation. That is a complete fabrication. The truth is that your daily survival is being traded for raw political leverage. When they fire dedicated civil servants, your public services collapse. When inflation explodes, your purchasing power completely disappears. Every single action taken in Washington right now is explicitly designed to protect the powerful while forcing the working class to pay the ultimate price. You are the one bearing the entire burden of their chaotic political games. Do not let them convince you that this does not matter. It absolutely matters today. It matters tomorrow. It matters for your immediate financial future right now. Let us look directly at the terrifying warning issued by House Speaker Mike Johnson behind closed doors. This is not just standard political anxiety about losing a legislative majority. This is a profound, paralyzed fear of total legal exposure. The establishment leadership is realizing that the upcoming midterm elections of 2026 are not just about passing policy. It is a matter of absolute personal survival. They are terrified of what happens when the tables turn. If the Democratic Party successfully executes their strategic roadmap, the entire institutional landscape changes instantly. They only need to flip 4 critical seats while maintaining their current defensive strongholds. 4 seats: North Carolina, Maine, Ohio, Alaska. If those 4 specific states shift, and if they successfully hold on to the razor-thin margins in Georgia and Michigan, the traditional legislative branch transforms overnight into a massive judicial weapon. Think about the immediate consequences. Every single committee in the United States Congress will immediately transform into an aggressive investigative body. Every single subpoena will be weaponized. Every single hearing will be televised. According to sources familiar with internal strategic discussions, the incoming leadership is already drafting the official paperwork. They are preparing to launch full-scale investigations into the executive branch, explicitly targeting the inner circle, the cabinet members, and the major financial donors who funded the movement. Half of the people in that room know they will be targeted. The primary targets are already selected. The corporate media talks about standard legislative oversight, but the hidden truth is much darker. Investigators will focus intensely on alleged insider trading within the congressional ranks. They will investigate the systemic corruption surrounding presidential pardons. They will go directly after the international business dealings of the immediate family. The powerful elite, who once sat comfortably in executive boardrooms, will be forced to sit under the harsh lights of congressional hearing rooms, sweating under oath, watching their political immunity completely vanish. They will face relentless questioning from prosecutors who have been waiting years for this exact moment. This is a high-stakes game where the loser does not just walk away into a lucrative lobbying career. The loser faces total legal destruction. The Republican leadership is fully aware that their political opponents are eager to take them on after November of 2026. They know that if they lose the majority, they lose the ability to protect themselves. The executive branch will be thoroughly dismantled from the outside in. There is no room for diplomatic compromise. There is no middle ground. It is an all-out war for institutional survival, and the legal trap is already beginning to close around them right now. Every single day brings them closer to a potential courtroom reckoning that they cannot escape, and they are completely running out of viable strategic options. We are now standing at the ultimate crossroads of American history. The future is split into two dark, volatile, and wildly unpredictable paths. There is no middle ground. There is no compromise. There is only raw political survival. In the first scenario, the establishment completely surrenders to the iron will of Donald Trump. They capitulate. They bend the knee. They eliminate the Senate filibuster and force the Save America Act through Congress by any means necessary. If this happens, the entire electoral landscape is locked down permanently. The rules of democracy change forever. The federal government seizes unprecedented, absolute authority over state elections. They completely insulate themselves from the rising anger of the working class, securing undeniable power for the next 100 years. It becomes a total, unbreakable institutional fortress. But look closely at the alternative. In the second scenario, the internal fractures are simply too deep to heal. The party utterly implodes from within. The core voters choose to stay home or actively rebel at the ballot box. The midterm elections of 2026 turn into an absolute, historic, and devastating bloodbath for the conservative establishment. The Democratic Party sweeps into power, capturing overwhelming majorities in both the House of Representatives and the United States Senate. The legal trap immediately snaps shut. The congressional committees are instantly weaponized, unleashing a merciless wave of public investigations, aggressive subpoenas, and federal criminal prosecutions that will completely dismantle the executive branch and send powerful figures into a lifetime of legal ruin. The ball is now entirely in your court. The ultimate choice rests with you. The corporate algorithms are actively suppressing this channel because we dare to expose the hidden truths that the mainstream television networks refuse to touch. They want you blind. They want you silent. Do not let them win. If you believe Donald Trump will successfully crush his opponents and engineer a massive political victory, I want you to drop a red heart in the comment section down below right now. If you believe the system is collapsing from within and the opposition will seize absolute control in 2026, drop a blue heart down below. Let me know exactly where you stand. Your financial survival is on the line. Your future, your freedom, and your country are being transformed before your very eyes. Make your voice heard immediately. Do not stay silent. Choose your side right now.